before storage, I had a very successful single family house business. A lot of the guys on the call have been there have known me, like Ken, Brent, and we were killing it. I mean, we were doing around 100 deals a year. I mean, we were netting 7 figures plus or minus every year. And we were, we'd built a portfolio of rentals, 10 to 15. We were doing 10 to 15 flips a year. And the picture on the right is my team out at one of our holiday dinners. I had a business partner, real estate, we did a lot of cool stuff during those 10 years. My wife and I, we traveled all over. We still travel a lot. It's a big part of who she is, and she likes to drag me to far corners of the earth. There's some of our trips there, but storage appealed to us. And I kind of talk about Ken and Brent, who Brent likes to maintain a low profile. But I got to watch their success behind the scenes. And I think that's the part of these calls that a lot of you guys probably get on, try to extract, and then go try to execute. But the connection part, like I got to watch Ken succeed and Brent succeed. And I got to see that like proof of concept without really I got to know Mike from another coaching group that I was part of that Ken was a coach in. And so I got to like see this proof of concept. I'm very skeptical in general. It always doesn't serve me. So my point in bringing that up is that I wouldn't have probably trusted other coaching groups that were out there, but I got to see behind the curtains a little bit of these other people that were having success. And part of you guys getting on these calls is part of that, in my opinion. So we started to, realize that our business, like I said, we did all this traveling, the money was great, and it was really good. But one of the main reasons we decided to sell the business was that I realized I created all this bandwidth. And for those of you guys who've been on these other calls, I always get choked up when I show this picture. You see this picture at Disney, right? And this is the picture I put on Facebook. But what I realized is that I was creating space, but not holding that same space for myself. And this was, for those of you who've been to Disney recently, this is the Buzz Lightyear ride. And this was in 2017, and the magic bands take your pictures, whether you want to or not. And I was texting work, and that's not to take away that we didn't have tons of great experiences on this trip, and I wasn't working the entire time. But this picture was kind of like a gift from the universe that was like, bro, you were think you're doing all this shit, but you're not really doing it like you think you're doing it. And so that was a big eye opener for me. And then over the next 2 years, I kind of tried to figure out, how am I going to get out of this business that I created, right? We were making great money. We had the leeway to travel, but I had some intricacies that I won't get into on the call, but with my partner and the business and the team that Ken and then some of the other guys may know a little bit more deep about, but I couldn't get there with what I had built. And I'm not super religious, but there's a parable that some of you guys might have heard, the preacher in the bell tower. And to paraphrase a little bit, there's a preacher and there's floods coming and everyone flees, and he's like, God, please save me. And the water comes up and gets in the church. So he climbs on top of the pew and he's like, God, please save me. The water goes higher. He's in the rafters. He's like, and then a boat comes and he's like, no, God's going to save me. Turns the boat away. Then he gets up on the roof. The water's rising higher. And a helicopter comes and he's like, turns the helicopter away. God will save me. And finally he's up and drowns. And he goes to heaven, and God is like, he's like, God, why didn't you save me? And he's like, I did. I sent a helicopter, I sent a boat, I sent a rescue crew, and you turned it all away. And reason I bring that story up is that was when I was talking about seeing the alignment with Ken and Brent and these other people on the call. They were the helicopters and the boats, and the people on the call that you may make connections with, or people, whoever it may be, whether it's my story or somebody else's, those are the boats, and you have to find those in your life. And the point in that being is that at the time I was turning them away. I was like, oh, how am I going to get out of this business? I didn't really know. And then I was through the other coaching group, I actually knew Mike, and I realized I had an epiphany that all these signs were already in front of me. So I don't know if you guys have felt like that in your business or your job, but that was where I was at. So we decided in the spring of 2020 to sell the business. COVID was a gift to me. It gave me this space, this unnatural space to like breathe and figure things out. A lot of people curse COVID. There's obviously a lot of bad that comes with it. I'm not saying that people didn't experience pain. I definitely experienced some, but it gave me this space where my business shut down for a month. And I got to kind of like realize that like I can have this space now, or this peace now, or work towards it. I don't need to wait. And so we made a decision in the beginning of COVID, and we sold the business. I exited it completely. I sold all my rentals to my partner. It was a good time because we were shut down to let our team go. And I went full time into storage at that point. And that was it took a big leap of faith, and I trusted those around me to do it. And not everybody on this call is proud. I'm not telling you to take a leap of faith necessarily and quit your job. We had some other financial things that were set up. But when the things align, you need to take the signs from the universe.